Hello everyone, this one is GATE previous year question. This question was asked in GATE 2015 and it was a 2-mark question with 4 given option. Now in this one is a little bit different question we are already work with in our class, but all other problems that we already solved, in all those problems they asked to find the result or output of the program, but in this particular case it is not asked to find the output of the program. Look, the question here is, consider the following recursive C function. A function is given, it was a recursive function where the function name is get and inside the function body get itself called twice. Clear? That means from this function body we call the same function again. That means this one is a recursive function and that's what they told here. This one is a recursive C function. Now come to the next part. If get6 function is being called in main function, what does it mean? That means they are telling that from main function we are calling this particular get function with parameter 6. This is what they told in this first part. Now next part is, then how many times will the get function be invoked before returning to the main function? What does it mean? Look, whenever the program start execution, it start execute from main function. When it comes here, at that time this get function will invoke. That means the execution of this get function will start. Now that means a new block will create for the get function, and from this get function, inside this get function we again call get function. Now what it means, what it given in the question is, then how many times will the get function be invoked before returning to the main function? That means when we call the get function, the execution of the program will come into the get function and start execution of this get function. Now, and after completion of this get function, the control again return back to the main function. Now the question is, after getting this call and until when it return back to the main function, within this duration how many times we call this get function, they want to know that particular number. That means how many times this get function will called when the system will execute this particular program, and this get function is called with get 6 and 6 is a parameter here. Now our task is to find the number of times, how many times this particular get function will called before control of program execution return back to the main function after execution of this particular get function. Now we don't need to execute the program to see what it will produce us as a output. We just need to concentrate how many times it will call the get function. That is what in this particular case we will focus on. We will not focus on the other part of the program. Now so hope you understood what they want to know in this particular problem. So let's start. Now look, in this particular given problem, this one is a print instruction, so this one is not required to consider because we just want to know how many times this get function will invoke. Clear? So the base condition here is this one. This is our base condition. What does it mean? This means until n becomes less than 1, this return will not execute. Clear? Until this condition becomes true, that means the value of n becomes less than 1, till that point of time this return will not going to execute. That means we will execute, system will execute this get function and this get function. Both of these get function will execute until we get the value of n is less than 1. So we just focus on this base condition and these two function call. So let's start how to solve this particular problem. Look, there are 2-3 ways to solve this particular problem. We will see one by one each of these. Clear? And according to your comfortable, you can decide which one you should follow, but I will describe all of this possible way that we can use to solve this particular problem. Clear? So let's start. The first approach is from main function we called with get 6. That means now we are in this get function. Now what happened? The value of n is greater than, the value of n will be 6 here. Now look at here, in this particular case the value of n will be 6. That means 6 less than 1 and 6 less than 1, this condition is false. As this condition is false, that means this return statement will not execute. So we encounter these two function call. That means from inside this function call get 6, we have two more function call for get 6. Look, first one called with get n minus 1. So n is 6, 6 minus 1 means get 5. That means we get another function call with get 5, and the second instruction is get n minus 3. So n is 6, now n is 6, 6 minus 3 means 3. So next function call will be get 3. Now we are in this case, that means we are again enter inside the function. Now in this particular case the value of n is 5. So again 5 less than 1, this one is false. This condition becomes false, so this return will not execute. We came here, we get these two function call. So here again the first function call will be get n minus 1, that means get 4. The second function call will be get n minus 3, n is 5, 5 minus 3 means 2, then get 2. Now coming to this particular 4, here in this case the value of n is 4, then 4 less than 1, this one is false. That means again we come to this two function call. That means again for this we can get n minus 1. So n minus 1 means n is 4, 4 minus 1 means 3, and then get 4 minus 1, n minus 3, that means 4 minus 3, that means get 1. Now for this one again we have two function call, that is here again n equal to 3 and 3 less than 1, it is false. So we get this one will be get 3 minus 1, that means 2, and other one will be get 0. 3 minus 3 means 0. Now for this one, here n is 2, 2 less than 1, this one is false, so we get 1, and here we will get the value of n is 2 here, so 2 minus 3, that means minus 1, so here we will get minus 1, and now for this get 1. Now here in this case n equals to 1, 1 less than 1, this one is again false, so again we will get two function call. One is for get First one is for n minus 1, that means get 0, and second one is for n minus 3, that means 1 minus 3, that means get minus 2. Now look at here, in this case the value of n is 0, so 0 less than 1, 0 less than 1, that means here we will get return. Clear? That means no more function, these two function will called. Now in this case again the value of n is minus 2, so minus 2 less than 1, yes, true, that means we again get return. That means no more get function will called in this case also. Now here in this case, what is the value of n? The value of n is minus 1. Now minus 1 again less than 1, yes, true, that means we again get this return statement. So this here again the return statement will encounter and no more get function will called. Now next one is this one. Now what happened in this case? In this case the value of n is 0, so 0 less than 1, yes, true, that means return statement will encounter, that means no more get function will called, that means here also we return back. Now in this case, what is the value of n? Sorry, what is the value of n? Yeah, true. What is the value of n? The value of n is 1. Here the value of n is 1. So 1 less than 1, this one is false. That means again we have two function call. One is get. First one is 1 minus 1, that means 0. Next one will be get n minus 3, that means minus 2. Now look at here, in this case the value of n is 0, that means it will return. In this case the value of n is minus 2, that means again it will return. That means no more function call, it will return, it will return. Next one is get 2. Now look at here, get 2 is there, that means the value of n is 2 here. Now what happened? 2 less than 1, yes, it is true. It is true, 2 less than 1, it is true, that means again we get two function call. One is get 1, other one is get minus 1. Next, now look at here, in this case the value of n is minus 1, that means here it will return. Now in this case the value of n is 1, that means it will become 1 less than 1, that means false. So again we have two function call. So here also we can get two function call. One is get n minus 1, that means 0. The next one will be get n, the value of n is 1, 1 minus 3, that means minus 2. So here again the value of n is 0, so it will return. The value of n is minus 2, again it will return, that means no more function call here. Now we left with this thing, we left with this part, that means get 3. Now how to solve this thing? Again we can solve in the same manner. So here in this case, first one we will get 2, and the second one we will get 0. Now look, in this case, why the value of n is 3 here and 3 less than 1, this one is false. That means this return will not encounter, these two function will call. That means first one is get n minus 1. What is the value of n? N is 3. So 3 minus 1 means 2. Now in this particular case, means this particular function call, what is the value of n? The value of n is 3, and 3 minus 1, that means 0. Now in this particular case, look at here, the value of n will become 0. So 0 less than 1, that means this condition will become true. Now the base condition satisfied, that means we will return back. So here no more function call, we will return back. Now in this particular case, what is the value of 2? Sorry, what is the value of n? The value of n is 2. 2 less than 1, this one is true, sorry, false. That means again this return will not encounter, these two function will called. So what happened? The first function will be get n minus 1. So get n minus 1 means n is 2, 2 minus 1 means 1, and then get n minus 3. What is the value of n? The value of n is 2. 2 minus 3 means minus 1. Now look at here. Here it is n equals to 1. N equal to 1, that means 1 less than 1. Sorry, it is not true, it is false. That means these two functions will execute again. Get, what is the value of n? The value of n is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. What is the value of n? N is 1. So get 1 minus 3 means minus 2. Now look at here. Here the value of n is 0. So 0 less than 1, that means true. So it will return. Here in this case the value of n is minus 2. That means minus 2 less than 1. Yes, it is true. So it will return. That means no more function call here, no more function call here, no more function call here. That means in every case we will reach to the base condition. That means these are the number of function call that will invoke for the get 6 function invocation. That means when we invoke the get function with the parameter 6 from main function, at that time this is the whole scenario. That means this is the whole number of function invoked for this particular get 6 function call. Now is this our answer? No, this is not our answer. We have to find out the number of function call. So let's count how many times this get function is invoked. Now 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25. Total how many times it called? Total 25 times it encountered. Clear? One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That means total invoked is 25. So which one will be the correct option, correct result? This 25 will be the correct result for this particular given problem. Now this is one way we can solve this particular problem. We can resolve the particular problem in better way or time efficient manner also. So let's do it. Alternative method or alternative method. How we can solve this problem? Now in alternative method, look, the get 6 function called with parameter 6, and this one is a recursive function. Clear? So here in alternative case we will not start working with the parameter 6. We will start working with the lowest possible parameter that we can pass to the function. After that we can slowly reach to the target parameter. Clear? Now look at here. We can resolve this particular problem as get get 6 when get 6 is invoked, at that time internally this condition is false. Why? Because the value of n now is 6, that means this condition is false. Now these two function will invoked. So how many, what is the parameter for this particular function call? That is get 5 plus get 3. What does it mean? What does it mean? This means the count for function call with 6 will be number of function call for get 5 and number of function call for get 3 function. So now we have to find the number of get function called for get 5 and number of get function called for get 3. That means this particular larger problem is resolved for two smaller problem. One is for get 5 and one is for get 3. Now next part. Now we need to find the number for this particular function. So how we can find this particular number? So get 5. How we can find it? Get 5 will be, again 5 is greater than, so we can find get 4 plus get 5 minus 3, that means 2. Correct? Yeah. Now next thing, next we have to solve this get 4. Get 4 will become get 3 plus this one will be get 1. Now next part is get 3. Get 3 will be, now we are working for this one, get 2 plus get, what will be the next result? Next result will be get 0. Now we have unknown for this one, so get 2 will be get 1 plus get 2 minus 3 means minus 1. Now next part, get 1 will be get 0 plus get minus 2. Correct? Yes. Now we find out for this one. Now we need to find for this one. What will be the value for this one? Get 0 equal to, for get 0 how many times this get function will called? Look, now for get 0 the value of n is 0. 0 less than 1 means 1. Sorry, 0 less than 1 means true. That means this condition is true. That means this return will execute. That means no more get function will invoked for this get 0. So number of get function invoked for get 0 will be only 1. Clear? Now we have one more unknown parameter, that is get 1 and get 2, get minus 1 and get minus 2. So get minus 1. So what happened when we called this particular function with parameter minus 1? That means in this particular function call the value of n will become minus 1. That means minus 1 greater than 1. Sorry, that minus 1 less than 1. Is it true? Yes, it is true. That means this return will execute. No more get function will invoked for this particular get minus 1 call. That means the number of get function invoked is only 1. Now one more we left, we solved for this one. One more we need to solve this, that is get minus 2. So get minus 2. Now what happened when we call the function get with parameter minus 2? Come here, we call this particular function with minus 2 parameter. That means the value of n will be minus 2. Now inside this function the value of n is minus 2. Minus 2 less than 1. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. That means this particular condition becomes true. So this return will execute. No more get function will invoked. Only one get function is invoked. So here again we have only one. Now for get 1. Now look, the number of get function invoked for get 1 is depend on the number of get function invoked for get 0 plus the number of get function invoked for get minus 2. So we know both of this. What is that? So get 1 is get 0 plus get minus 2. So what is the value of get 0? Get 0 is 1. 1 plus get minus 2 is again 1. That means here the number of get function invoked is 2. Here the number of get function invoked is 2. Now I have to include one more thing. Look, when we get when we call the get function with parameter 6, at that time this get function already invoked. That means within this get function we also have these two get function, so we also need to count this particular get function also. That means for this with all of this we need to count plus 1 also. Why this particular plus 1 comes? This particular plus 1 comes for this particular function call. This is one call and this one call is not included here. Because of that reason we need to add this thing. So here the get 1 is inside get 1 we have get 0 plus get 2 plus 1. This 1 is for this particular function call, get 1 function call. That means total number of function call will be 3. Now for get 2. Now look, get 2, when we invoke this function get with parameter 2, at that time how many get function will be invoked in total? That depends on the get function for 1, get function for minus 1 plus 1. So get 1 is 3 plus get minus 1 is 1 plus 1. So we will get total of 5. Now get 3. Look, the number of get function invoked for parameter 3 is depends on get 2 plus get 0. So get 2, for get 0 total invoke is 5 plus for get 0 total invoke is 1. We already calculated that one, plus 1. So total here is 7. Now next one is get 4. Now look, the number of get function invoked for parameter 4 is depends on get 3 and get 4 plus 1. So get 3 gives us 7 plus get 1 gives us 3 plus 1. That means we have 11. Next is get 5. So how to solve get 5? Number of get function invoked for parameter 5 depends on get 4, get 2 plus 1. So get 4 means we got already 11 plus get 2. Get 2 gives us 5 plus 1. That means 12, 17. Now for get 6, what will be the total number of get function invoked for get 6? That depends on get 5 plus get 3 plus 1. So the get function invoked for parameter 5 is 17. Next one is get 3. So get 3 gives us 7 times plus 1. This one is for this get function itself. This one is for this get function itself. So we get here again 25. So in this way also we can solve this particular problem whenever we need to count the number of occurrences or number of invoked of a recursive function. In this way also we can solve. So that's it for today.